So the Cats red-hot favourites, paying $1.08, Essendon $8.50. Bombers going right to left. Ottens and Hill, a couple of seasoned campaigners, and there's another one, Chapman, with the footy under siege, and there will be a secondary ball-up.
Saw a couple of Bombers charging off the square, and you're just seeing a little bit of push and shove. They were really disappointing last Friday night against the Hawks, and I'm sure James Hird has just requested some real heat and some real intensity from this young side.
You would expect nothing less after the misery of last week.
And the Bombers have just won one of their last 7 first quarters, so they've been getting off to horrible starts. And I think what Brendan McCart and Bomber Thompson would ask of their players, lower your eyes, don't kick long into Scarlett, Harry Taylor, hit up your forwards.
So it's still in the middle. Crunching was Howlett. Still no free kick, so about take 5 in the middle. Ottens again against Hill. Third man up this time was Stanton. Knocked it straight to Ling. Couldn't get a handle on it. Has another crack. Oh, it's tough in the clinches at the moment. The ball hasn't got any further than about 10 metres in the opening minute of play.
We'll just stop now, okay? Thank you.
Joe Watson watches on. Captain of Essendon, having a wretched run with that hamstring. Hill tapped it. And we got a free kick, so we're going to have a bit of play. And it's going to go to the Cat skipper, Cameron Ling. So things will get cleared from the congestion in the middle. He kicks to half forward. Mark missed there by Hardingham, one he probably should have taken. Handball comes to Enright, chips inside 50. No mark there to Brown. Picked up, though, very cleverly by Christensen. Kicks towards goal. Perfect start for the Cats. Well, that's the man you talked about before the game, Matthew Lloyd. Alan Christensen, the nephew of former Cats Marty and Damien from Lara, taken pick 40 in 2009 and made an immediate impact tonight.
Oh, yeah, as he's continued on from last week quarters. It's a good lead on Tate pairs there from Mitch Brown. And look at the crumbing there. Hardingham just too far off his man Christensen, and that's a class finish. He's playing confident footy at the moment, Darcy, and not the start the Bombers would want.
I think the thing about really good sides is that when you replace a player, you're actually replacing a role. And I think Christensen's come into this team and he knows exactly what's required of him. It's the same role that Matthew Stokes plays. He knows that he has to lay some forward pressure. And then when the opportunity's there to score, Lloyd, do you want to talk about that matchup just as we're looking? Welsh is in the goal square.
Yeah, Andrew Welsh got the negating role on Matthew Scarlett tonight.
Stepping into your shoes, Lloydie, at full forward.
Yes, he is. He has to compete and limit his effects. See, this is the worry for Essendon. That's Paddy Ryder's man, Harry Taylor. You cannot let them do that.
So the Bombers with the clearance victory there, but they bounce back quickly, and now Bartel takes a free kick for the Cats, who rode everything Essendon could throw at them with those 5 ball ups to start the game, and then very quickly kicked a goal. Here's Podsiadly, beautifully crumbed. It's Christensen again going for home. He's offline.
I love the way,
long score.
I love the way he was in the perfect spot from a front and centre position. He just instinctively gets to that position really well for a young player in the game.
Well, the Cats might have unearthed another beauty there. Looking the goods early in this game, playing just game number 8 in the AFL. Fletcher to do the kicking in. Goes the long option, and Ottens goes up uncontested in the end. Quick give off to Enright. Oh, the signs are not good early as Johnson gets the uncontested mark inside 50.
It's a horrible mix-up that was. They would have planned that kick, Lloydie, before the first bounce. You know, we're going to go long on the first one. You can see David Hill, he had his head down going the other way, and Fletcher could have got a further 20 metres, but went short and straight down the throat of Ottens.
Johnson converting it 49% this year. He's now 8 goals, 8 from set shots.
It's a good point, Darcy. They're going short now, Dustin Fletcher. But David Hill, they've dropped Bell Chambers. He needs a big game tonight. 30 years of age, probably on limited time, David Hill. He needs to compete with Brad Ottens.
So Ryder, the target there. No mark. Have a throw in.
Yeah, really interested in both Hill, as you said, Lloyd, and that man there on screen, Paddy Ryder. I, too, was a little bit surprised. I thought Bell Chambers was the one that at least you know he was going to be competitive. But Paddy Ryder in the last fortnight, particularly last week, has really looked flat and disinterested. So looking forward to just seeing if either of those two can respond and just commit themselves with a bit more heat than they have done in the past.
Ben Howlett tied up there. He looks as though he's got a tagging role on Chapman in a test of strength. Big task, young player, top 10 in the best and fairest in his debut season last year. Big ask tonight. One of the hardest men in the game. Auction the little soccer to McVeigh. Bombers try and build an attack. Enright the spoil. Cramery kept his feet. The bounce of the ball not kind to him. Still a chance. Fletcher up in midfield. Away from goal to Stanton. Quick kick forward. Jetta. Bombers looking to move it quickly. Jetta just having to delay for a moment. Good into the corridor to the former Cat. Prismal, who kicks in the Ryder direction, and he's come down with it.
Well, that's a great sign there, Paddy Ryder. It was 1 against 3, and that was something that he just didn't do last week. He just didn't launch himself and attack the footy with any real intensity. You can see here, I thought the kick from Prismal wasn't a great option. Well, Ryder made it a great option because he just didn't have anything but eyes for the footy, Lloyd. And we know that's what he's capable of. And I suppose that's where the frustration is sometimes. Is the difference between that and his worst is enormous.
And you see a clap there from the coach. He's backed him in tonight, Darcy, and he would want to see a response from Paddy Ryder.
Well, this is a big moment for him. Quite kickable. Needs to be kicked. And it isn't.
Enright does the kicking in, finds Lonergan in the back pocket.
Good shot there of Essendon's forward press. As you see that kick from Lonergan go astray, but Majinski might bring it unstuck. The start of the year, this is what everyone was lauding the Bombers for. They were able to turn it over the forward half, and they've done it well here.
They certainly have, as Hibbard shorts it. Finds Jetta just outside 50. Too far out to score.
All the numbers back for Geelong, so Leroy Jetta can't just blaze away. He has to look up for a short.
It's a brave kick. Won't come off. Prismal's wrapped up by Ling. Oh, and he's been given a free kick from the back, so it's an Essendon free kick. Quick handball to Monfries. He squares it up, overcooked the kick. Mackie, good hands to Podsiadly. Dispossessed by the McVeigh tackle. Pears goes short and wide and finds Heppel. Fight on in the middle too. 2 Bombers and 2 Cats, 4 at it.
Spillage, all Geelongs. Wojcinski, Lonergan, Blazers. Not a great kick. There'll be plenty under it when it lands. Steve Johnson nearly conjured the mark. He does conjure a clever hand pass. The skipper Ling bouncing it to the 50. Hurley in the way. Podsiadly went after his own knock-on. Fletcher has to defend grimly for the line. Menzel leads the race and kept it alive. And it's beautifully delivered by Motlop to Johnson, who will line up from 35.
And here's the blue early on, Mark McVeigh and James Podsiadly. McVeigh, one of the senior players, been criticised a bit, just a bit of passion there. Obviously, they need to be far more dangerous going inside 50 on the rebound. Geelong options left, right and centre inside 50.
Johnson's kicked 12 in his last 3 games against Essendon. He's had it a couple of times near goal, hasn't converted. You'd imagine his time might come.
Yeah, bad miss. Let off for Essendon. Monfries taken over the line by Christensen, and holding the ball is the call. Kicks deep. Oh, now's it a goal. It might be home. Christensen's got 2.
Well, Dustin Fletcher, you can see, claimed that he had a fingernail on the footy. We'll just have a look at this free kick, which I thought was pretty red hot. Monfries out of play. Now, if you're out of play, surely then that means the footy is dead. And I can't believe the umpire on reflection has played that. Fletcher puts his hand up straight away. Let's have a look, and yeah, not clear, but it looks more like the Geelong player. Menzel might have got a finger on it. Either way, a lucky bounce and it's gone through, but the holding the ball decision on Monfries, absolutely red hot.
I agree, Darcy. Red hot on Monfries. He just thought the ball was over the line, so that would hurt him. He's had 2 goals kicked on him with Christensen, and this is the matchup I'm interested in. Hurley, probably their best lead up forward at fullback now on Podsiadly.
Well, luck with Geelong there. Not what Essendon needs. Stanton lofting it and right under it. And here go the Cats again. They are irresistible. Stokes started on the bench, into the fray early. Menzel not needing to lose too much momentum as he marks. Motlop was going to have the run at it, decided to wait down. Hardingham's turned it over. Vardy makes him pay.
Signs aren't great, are they, for a Essendon supporter here tonight? They're probably expecting this to head this way, and I just love the list of the Cats at the moment. Nathan Vardy, he comes into the side, and he looks like he could be anything, this young man. Great skills in the ruck, and really smart, great awareness for a big man around the goals as well.
You wouldn't want to miss too many games if you're a senior player at Geelong, because 2 goals to Christensen, now to Vardy. What a snap from a big man. They have got so much talent, Darcy.
How exciting is Nathan Vardy? He's only 6 games of footy. He goes in and takes a centre bounce. He's nearly 200 centimetres. Unbelievably athletic. Great skills. Really good awareness on a footy ground.
Beautiful ruck work there by Ryder. Essendon get the clearance. Here's Alwyn Davey. Little short one. Oh, didn't come off to Jetta. Well done by David Wojcinski.
Inside 50s. 5 to Geelong, 3 to Essendon, but it's the type of inside 50s. When Essendon have it, they're slowed up, all Geelong numbers back, but on the rebound, the turnover, Geelong are really hurting Essendon.
Oh, again, beautifully done by Ryder. Got it off to Melksham, who kicks to the 50, marked by Zaharakis, and running hard is Heppel, and he'll have a shot at goal, and boy, did the Bombers need that one. Great stuff. Two great pieces of ruck work, Darcy from Ryder, and that was magnificent running from Heppel.
Yeah, loved it, Quarters. It was just a great bit of play, and that just shows when you get a really good setup at a stoppage, you get a ruckman who puts it in the right spot, you've got to go back and congratulate Paddy Ryder for that. Really well done, and Heppel is having a great first up season for the Bombers, got himself in the right spot. It's just fantastic play from Paddy Ryder. It's exactly the spot where you want to hit it. He played it really well to Melksham. He got himself in the right position. And Heppel, pushing up from defence, scored a great goal. So Paddy Ryder has taken a really good mark and some great ruck work so far in this match.
Heppel's first goal in the big league. Needless to say, the most important one he's kicked so far. It might be answered pretty quickly. The ball wouldn't sit for Stokes. He'll keep the pressure on. Hibberd stuck at him well. Fletcher, Menzel on his hammer. The youngsters stealing it and just getting it forward somehow. Whatever it takes. Still Geelong's ball. The old hard nut around the corner. Chapman almost Podsiadly. Belted away by Hibberd. Still danger for Essendon. Duncan hard at it. Bomber defence though, keeping numbers around the contest. Zaharakis, Hocking. Good victory this Essendon. Reamers. Welsh sweeping it to Heppel. That is a very good win for Essendon. What if they could build an attack and make something of it now?
Very clever little kick too to Hocking, who's found Jetta, who squares it up again. The Bombers run from defence. Great mark by Melksham.
And really clever from Melksham there, Quarters. He just put his body in the right spot that didn't allow Bartel to spoil.
Fletcher.
Good move from Fletcher and the defenders, Heppel. They've got to work forward to keep the Geelong players honest and try and drag some of them out.
His kick finds Ryder. Doesn't want to go long. Not 15. Melksham drills it into the pocket. Here's Monfries. Looks at what's on offer, not much, so he kicks for goal! And Angus Monfries has kicked a ripper! He looked and he looked and he looked, Matthew Lloyd. There was nothing there. He bananaed it, and it's a goal.
And Angus Monfries has struggled at times this year because he hasn't known. He's a lead-up player, and he's been caught in no man's land with the the type of footy that they're kicking in long time and time again. That is a brilliant crumb from Angus Monfries, and you're right, Cordy. He wanted to do the right thing. It wasn't on. He picked the next option, which was having a shot at goal, and he's one of the better finishers at Essendon. And Darcy, the pressure is far better this week, even though Geelong kicked the first 3 goals than it was last week against the Hawks.
No doubt they've brought more intensity to the table tonight, the Bombers, but I think your point earlier was spot on as well, Lloyd, is that the structures of Geelong are so good at the moment that what it's requiring is to actually kick a miracle goal. They had so many numbers in the corridor defensively that Monfries had to go the banana from the boundary. On this occasion, good enough to score.
Well, that might have been an affirming 60 seconds for Essendon as they defended defiantly and then came up with a very clever goal.
And the clearance is 5-2 in favour of Essendon.
Ottens and Hill. Hill the better of it. And Melksham just soccering it on. Essendon working hard at the moment. Perhaps a little bit of belief starting to just gain root. Here's Howlett, and here is Jetta, and he's 45 out. He gives it off. I'm not sure whether it's to a better position. Stanton into a smother, gets it back, bends it back. Too far.
Say it a lot, don't we, Lloyd? And I know that what you would have done there, you would have gone back, you would have gone through your set shot goal routine, and you would have kicked it 15 rows back and more than likely straight through the middle. I don't know why the modern player, current player, doesn't say, I'm 40 out. This is a part of the game you should love doing. Going back and taking the role of kicking a goal.
Good mark taken by Taylor. Chips to the wing, marked by Chapman. So Geelong being challenged after kicking the first 3 goals. Duncan. And still in play. Brown's there for Geelong. He's up against Pears, picked up by Hurley. Prismal's there, so is Chapman. It ricochets to Ling. Centering kick, Johnson's camped underneath it. Good mark.
We go back to the other end. Brett Stanton's 40 metres out. He's 7 goals won from set shots in 2011. He decides to play on. Now the Cats have an opportunity to score.
Yeah. No mark to Stokes, though. So Essendon out of danger. Hibbard. Oh. Prismal. Oh, 2 Cats collide. They're both OK. Hocking, he's got a man on out on the wing, but he ignores him and goes through the middle. Prismal again, backs himself, loses the pill. Oh, it's desperate out there and hard as Ottens attacks it, and he's been penalised from the umpire out of play. And Prismal gets up with the goods and gives it off to McVeigh.
Who delivers well to Welsh with that job on Scarlett. He's come out to the 50 beyond range, Lloydie.
He is beyond range for Andrew Welsh, but Matthew Scarlett yet to touch the football. 17 minutes into this first quarter, so a real win here for Andrew Welsh, but I think this distance will test him.
Interesting dynamic here. Cats the first 3 goals. The Bombers have pulled 2 back. Kick falling short. His teammates not really reading it, as Matthew Lloyd did. Still danger, though, for Geelong. Taylor on his non-preferred, and he gives it up. He just blazed straight to Monfries. Essendon showing signs of growing belief after a start that might just about have broken them. 3 early goals to Geelong. Good ball, Pears. Stanton getting a bit of it in that area. Prismal spearing it in. Cremery hands on it. Zaharakis was there. Welsh, the makeshift full forward, kicks to Don's 3rd.
It's a massive win for the Bombers, that is, to hold the footy inside 50. They got a double inside 50. We're able to go back as we look at Stevie Johnson just clean up his teammate there, Motlop. But you're right, it's just a different amount of intensity brought to the table tonight for the Bombers than they were able to provide last week. Full credit to them. Been able to bounce back, get themselves into the contest.
Brent Prismal quite lucky here with, you see the intent of the 2 Geelong players clash. Motlop and Stevie Johnson. And Andrew Welsh gets questioned a lot why he's in this Essendon team, but he'll give 100% week in, week out. A sensational start on Matthew Scarlett.
Welsh's last 7 matches have all been losses for the Bombers. Heppel, what a season he's had in his debut year. Wojcinski at half-back. Essendon pressure. Back to Wojcinski. He's unloaded as he kicks to the wing. Pears can't take the mark. Beautiful work from Hibbard. Got it out to Prismal, who's having his 8th touch against his old team in the first quarter. Drills it long. Lonigan's got the sit here, can't take the mark. Welsh drilled into the turf by Scarlett. Cranmery keeps the football alive. Welsh has another go. Scarlett's in there. Comes to Monfries. Quick hands to Heppel. Heppel to Jetta. Jetta to Welsh. Welsh to Davey. Can't quite trap it. Good pressure by Lonigan. Attacking it as Hunt. Threw a little shifty right one too, did Josh Hunt. And Hibbert didn't like the treatment.
Have a look at the Bomber numbers around the footy. Have a look at them getting in the face of some of the senior cap players. They are right on and right in this game at the moment.
Fascinating opening quarter. Ling, a game that somehow looked a foregone conclusion, is already taking on a life of its own. There's going to be another ball up here, or is it? No, it's not. So a Geelong free kick against McVeigh. And it's Vardy to take it. Chapman, the Cats suddenly, no, they're in a scrap. Johnson, who should have certainly kicked one goal, off the outside of the boot for Menzel. Stanton right with him, did it well. Finished the job with a dumping tackle. Pears, Bombers building again. One-on-one, Cranmery surrounded now. His teammate Hill got in his way. Davey, though, to Heppel. Man loose. Monfries can go back and line them up to put the Bombers unthinkably in front.
Well, I love what Brent Stanton did back on centre wing there, and you called it beautifully to him, a dumping tackle without giving away a free kick, but that's intent. That's actually wanting to lay some physical presence on the game. It turned the footy over and allowed this inside 50. They got it in the hands of Heppel, who's got great vision and a really good kick to Monfries.
Good hands to have the ball in. 10-3 from set shots for the year. And he doesn't miss, and Essendon lead.
Well, I've got to admit, Lloydie, I'm sitting here 7 minutes in, 3 goals to the Cats, and I thought, oh, here we go. 100-point coming our way, and a bit of the glass half empty about me. Well, from nowhere, it seems, the Bombers have been able to just say, we're here to compete tonight, and it's been great to watch. Not sure they're going to have the ability to keep it up all night, but if you come and watch your team play, this is what you want to see.
Well, the Cats are being tested, and they don't like it. Here's Josh Hunt, little shifty one on Ben Howlett. And let's go down to Kelli Underwood. What looked like a disaster in the first 5 minutes for the Bombers. Kelly's really turned around.
Quarters, great atmosphere under the roof. The crowd figure just splashed up, 42,700. It's split about 70-30. Very vocal, pro-Bombers, and they're loving it.
Cats work it inside their 50. Fletcher heads towards the boundary line. Menzel. Now kick round the corner is by Brown. It's into the pocket. Essendon get possession. Kick to Prismal. He's against Duncan. Prismal can't break the tackle. Handball's back to Heppel. Slipped over at the crucial moment. Duncan has another go at it. Nice pick up by Reimers. He's dispossessed. Oh, it's helter-skelter at the moment. And the Bombers in front by 5, and don't their fans love it.
And the last 10 minutes quarters, 50 disposals to Essendon, 22 to Geelong. So got the game on their terms.
This is where it's a great game. You've got a team with its back to the wall. And they work it away here. Hardingham, Bartel covers it for Geelong. Had to kick quickly, kick beautifully, but arriving and making the spoil for the Dons was Hardingham. His kick not good. Back to Bartel, who won 3 Brownlow votes in both matches against Essendon last year. He thumps it long. I'm not sure whether that's a great kick for his forwards. Bomber defence perhaps could have hammered it through. Hurley, Hocking, quick movement. Pears getting it off. Still the pressure on Steve Johnson arrives. Hardingham's hand pass, not great.
This has been something that's been underestimated about Geelong and their improvement in 2011 is that they, under Bomber Thompson, didn't really worry too much about pressing forward, whereas this year under Chris Scott, they're second in the AFL for turnovers created in their own forward half.
Ryder got crunched but did well to get it out, but Bartel has got it on 50 again. Chips, that's a clever kick in the end. Duncan didn't go for it. must have heard a teammate's voice, and we'll have a bounce 10 metres out from the Cats' goal.
Sorry, in the last few minutes, there's been some hard hits. We saw Stevie Johnson, but I think Geelong have now thought, we've got a game on our hands here. Let's start banging harder and testing out this young Essendon defence. Hit-outs to advantage, 5 to Essendon, 0 to Geelong. Paddy Ryder going well in that department.
Vardy, nice tap, but it went straight to Hardingham. Long ball. Mackie will get there first, tried to tap it to Wojcinski. Here's Scarlett at the back of the pack. Good tackle by Mumfries. Causes the spillage. Davies away, got nothing to kick to. Handball's over the top to Crameri. That wasn't a great handball, but Mumfries has it. And that's good hard running from Zaharakis, who might be with a chance here.
Brilliant gut running from Zaharakis, and you're right, they are absolutely playing a paddock situation at the moment. They're getting all their numbers up in the defensive half of the ground to try and create some pressure on Geelong. Then they've got to storm back, but at the moment the brilliant part is their work rate is good enough that you saw Zaharakis running, you saw Heppel pushing down from defence, and at the moment it's causing Geelong some real issues.
20 goals this year, but none from set shots. Likes them on the run.
Yeah, 0 goals, 6 quarters from set shots from Zaharakis, as you said. It just doesn't like the set shot, but I don't think it's a technical thing. I think it's between the ears, but this has been an amazing response from the Bombers.
Yeah, one of the best quarters of the season. There's a push in the back. It'll be a Geelong free kick. They're allowed to run on here. Mackie able to run onto the bouncing ball. Door open here. Menzel feeding it off. Brown floating it in. Vardy from behind got into the back of Hibberd, and it's an Essendon free kick in the last line. 3 minutes left. Just a mighty opening quarter here. Geelong jumping out with 3 goals. Essendon bouncing back with 4.
Hibberd hugs the boundary line, and that's a Geelong ball. Taken by Menzel. Little short one, and that's a poor kick. Turned it straight back over to Hardingham. Bombers by a goal. 43,000 here at the moment at Etihad. And it's been a stunning first quarter.
Sitting here watching this first quarter, and what a great response. There's Bomber Thompson looking on, and you're thinking how good it has been for Essendon to just be able to raise your intensity and get back in. The class of Geelong at some stage, you probably feel will be too good, but looking at Essendon, you think if they can bring this to the table week in, week out, you know where they're heading as a footy club.
Chapman. Here's Hardingham again. Big tackle from Johnson. And we'll have a throw in.
We just saw shots there of James Podsiadly and Matthew Scarlett on the interchange bench. One disposal for Matty Scarlett. Podsiadly yet to touch the football.
Geelong have been in a number of times in the last 15 minutes or so. Haven't been able to kick a goal. Otten's getting it down. High contact. Stanton's free kick.
That's where there is some real interest for me in some of the matchups with Bomber Thompson's intelligence on the Cats, and obviously he had a big say in Welsh going to Scarlett and playing that defensive role. So far, as you said, Lloydie, so good.
Trouble here. Stanton and Heppel getting themselves into trouble. Stanton heading for the line. Hibberd. Fletcher. Cool, calm, high front on contact. Essendon's ball. David Zaharakis to receive it, 1.5 minutes left.
Been a pretty good response from the Cats in the last 5 minutes. All the ball's been Essendon's defensive 50. They haven't conceded though, but Geelong have stepped it up. They realise they've got a game on their hands.
Zaharakis kicks to Hibberd. He switches to the other pocket. Kicks good. Finds Kyle Reimers. Short to Hurley.
They're a really well organised side, Geelong, aren't they? And they have been for a long period of time. But you can see now, look at their press. You can see every player not guarding a man, just guarding space. Make it really hard to try and exit this half of the ground.
All 36 players in one half of the ground.
Just again there for Paddy Ryder, it was such a better attempt at competing. He's launching his body. He's not worrying about a defender. He's not hanging back to see if someone is going to take his space. He's just looking at the footy and going at it with everything he's got.
Otten's beautiful tap to Ling. Tried to get it back to Otten's. Here's Enright. Stanton dispossessed. Enright has another crack.
It's amazing when you start doing that. You see Paddy Ryder then just laid a fantastic tackle. I mean, they're the things you can control. No one can stop you from running in and smashing at the tackle. No one can stop you from flying hard at the footy. And you go back to the basic things, all of a sudden your form can turn around very quickly.
Almost 20 minutes since the Cats' last goal. Just under 40 seconds left, and a goal either way would be very significant. Must be a proud coach on what he's seen in this opening quarter, and one imbued with fresh optimism. Who can make this takeaway? Melksham does for Essendon, but it comes back with interest. Enright beyond the centre. Hurley flinging himself. Podsy Adley. Menzel. Cats looking for the late one. Skidder into the 50. The old hand Fletcher getting a finger onto it. Hurley. McVeigh. Bombers looking to hold up. And they only have 11 seconds more to do so. It's nearly quarter time. And they've come back from 3 goals down to lead the unbeaten Cats heading to the first change.
It's a good shot, that, isn't it? You've got Hurd, you've got Simon Goodwin, you've got McCarthy, you've got Sean Wellman and Bomber Thompson. They're all can't wait to get out and greet their players just to say, well done. We can win this game. If you keep it up, we're absolutely a chance.
And with 2 seconds to go, disposals, Essendon 107 possessions, just 64 to Geelong. So because of that, Geelong have laid 31 tackles to Essendon's 19. They've controlled the football after 10 minutes into that first quarter.
Zaharakis is okay. And what a great first quarter of football. The Cats with the first 3, and then the Bombers responded in brilliant fashion to kick the next 4, and they go into the first change with a 6-point lead.
Well, Stephen, just some news on the late withdrawal of Joel Corey. He actually pulled up sore after training in the Achilles yesterday. The club made a snap decision. They've decided to send him on a mid-season break. The West Australian flew to Perth earlier today, along with teammates Travis Varco and Joel Selwood. A fitness staff member went with them, and they've basically been ordered to get some sun and do a little bit of training for the next week. They'll meet up with the rest of the Cats next week ahead of their game in Perth. Here's David Zaharakis. Just copped a stray elbow in the face there from Brad Otten, and he was treated at quarter time. We can see the doctor, the Essendon doctor, Bruce Reid, just treating him. He looks like he'll be all right to play on. Speaking of Bruce Reid, Lloydie, he's your old club doctor, and a special milestone for him tonight.
Yeah, it's people like Bruce Reid, Dr. Bruce Reid, who make football clubs special places. And Bruce Reid, it's his 700th consecutive match tonight. He joined Kevin Sheedy in 1982 quarters, hasn't missed one since, and it's his 700th tonight.
And a recipient of the Jack Titus Award for services to football.
Well deserved. Well, we've got a great match in front of us here. Essendon by a goal as the second term gets underway. And it might start the same as the first, with at least a secondary ball up.
Just loved again. I mean, it's the first bounce of the second quarter. Ryder's just attacked that as though it's the last ball he's ever going to go for, and it's fantastic to see. Under a lot of pressure this week, a lot of people, including me, surprised he wasn't dropped. Well, so far so good, Paddy Ryder.
Looked like a takeaway to the Cats, then to the Bombers, and then it came to another ball up. Remember Ryder in that Anzac Day game in the wet, which Essendon won with the Zaharakis goal. It's as though he needs a special challenge to really look inside himself.
I think he laid about 14 tackles that day, which is almost unheard of for a ruckman. So we know he's got it in him. He just has to provide that on a weekly basis.
Well, that was his boot that prized it clear, but it was his teammate Monfries ramming Bartel in the back. Bartel into the 50. Johnson, Menzel arriving, but losing control of it. Jetta to Monfries, and the Bombers looking to get in motion. Zaharakis to Jetta under the pump. Monfries back to help him out. A lot of blue and white there as well. Bart Ling cannot find a square millimetre. Oh, that's a tough call. The fend off it is. It's not holding the ball.
It is holding the footy. He said you went to fend off, and that was your prior opportunity, but aren't mucking around tonight.
Fleeting moment of prior opportunity. Jetta to Hurley as the Bombers build again.
Nice kick towards Crameri, and he got hacked. So he's got the free kick. And he's not without a chance from this range.
These are quarters he was kicking in the first 8 rounds. He'd kicked 21 goals, still leading the goal kicking, but hardly hit the scoreboard over the last 5 weeks, and didn't play last weekend either.
12-8 from set shots this year, converting overall at 57%. Gives it a good go. It's close. It's close. It's home. What a wonderful kick.
He's got a huge kick on him, and don't know why he was looking around before, and that's a good call from the umpire, chopping of the arms there from Harry Taylor. And look at Chris Scott, hasn't been under too much pressure in his first season, but who would have thought the Bombers kicking 5 goals in a row after the Cats kicked the first 3?
Well, that is a phenomenal stat, isn't it? Disposal efficiency up to 71% for the Bombers, and their pressure is causing the Cats to turn it over at almost 50% so far in this game. What an incredible turnaround this is.
Geelong looking mortal. Essendon have kicked the last 5. Heppel, Welsh leading Scarlett. Jetta there. Wojcinski trying to go with him. Cramery fresh from a goal. Taking it well clear of the crush. Zaharakis almost had it. Heppel back for another go. Cat defence working aggressively. Cramery stolen from him. Kelli into the corridor, working it clear. Podsiadly having to get down to half back. Stokes gives it back to him. Now the Pod's clear. Ling, Stokes, great move by Geelong. Vintage Cats, long ball. Johnson, hampered by Hibberd, fights on. Well done by Michael Hibberd. The contest on here, and Hibberd might prevail. He does, as he gets it clear to Monfries. This is stirring stuff by the Dons, and Hardingham bangs it long and wide for Heppel.
Good mark, right on the line, taken by Heppel.
What an effort that was by Michael Hibberd. Stevie Johnson, very rarely beaten a one-on-one, and then to stand up and clear it, defensive 50, great stuff.
One of the hot fancies for the rising star at the end of the year, Heppel. Bad miss there for the Bombers. They might get it back though. It's a throw. It is going Essendon's way, and the recipient is Reimers, who gets it moving quickly. Clever kick, and it's come off. It's marked by Welsh. And this is about his range, Matthew.
It is. He's actually a pretty good kick for goal, Quarters. Not a long kick, but a nice kick for goal. And Matthew Scarlett, nowhere to be seen. And I think the key to playing Geelong, Darcy, you've got to keep them occupied. And if they start releasing players, you're in trouble. But every Geelong player is worried about their Essendon forward at the moment.
Andrew Welsh for his second. This to give the Bombers an 18-point lead.
Well done to Kyle Reimers. Kyle Reimers made a tackle that he maybe wouldn't have made last year, the year before. Has been in and out of the side, kicked 8 against the Gold Coast Suns, and his form fell away. But you're right, Darcy, that goal is credited to Michael Hibberd in set on Stevie Johnson.
Bombers have kicked the last 6 goals in this game, and this, to me, sums up just how much they want it tonight. Michael Hibberd, have a look at that one-on-one with Stevie Johnson. Very rarely gets beaten. Then he bounced up Hibberd again. Just a magnificent second, third effort. Got it out of defensive 50, and the Bombers score another one.
The Cats haven't kicked one for 26 minutes, and in that time, Essendon have booted 6.
Michael Hibberd, last picked in the pre-season draft. He's number 1 in the last month for marks, long kicks and rebound 50s for Essendon.
Ottens, Geelong need a lift. Hill, Kelli, brought down. This is a hungry Essendon team, and they have the scent of something special in their nostrils.
Some of the players down for Geelong, obviously Scarlett, just the 1 disposal. Brad Ottens, just the 2. Podsiadly yet to have a kick. Mitch Brown struggling to get in the game. A lot of Geelong players need to find something.
Duncan climbing in, hammering it forward. Ling getting it to within 15 of goal. Podsiadly there will be on his wrong side. Support from Menzel and Stokes, but the Bomber defence holds up again. Stanton banging it out to a one-on-one, and Kyle Reimers, great fighter, wins the contest hands down.
He kicks bravely to half forward and finds Hill on the first bounce. Dishes off the handball. Great tackle by the Cats defence. It was Enright who held up the Essendon player as he was storming towards goal, and they've got a bounce 50 out from the Bombers' goal. They lead by 3 goals. Vardy against Ryder. Ryder the tap to Melksham. He's been good. Throws it on the boot into the pocket. Throw in. Or it stays in play. Stays in play. Jetta attacks it against Enright. Neither took a backward step. Ball spills out the back of the pack. It's a free kick Geelong's way. Advantage paid. Christensen's got it.
Jetta ran hard. He didn't look to have any impact, but I think it stung as he went at the Steely Enright. Now Duncan, lovely ball with the left. Brown. Cats with 7 players who had played under 20 games going into the night. Long ball, Bombers coming from everywhere, and Hardingham it is from the side who hammers it away.
Great effort to get back, third man in Hardingham and kill that footy. Lloyd, one of the theories around has been that when James Hird and the new coaching team came in, they said that the fitness level of this group is just nowhere near up enough to compete against the best sides in the competition. I'll ask you about that in a moment. Is that correct? And are they going to have the legs eventually in this game to keep up the intensity they've got at the moment?
Cats without a goal for half an hour. Menzel, Johnson, they need one of his little miracles. That was not a characteristic Steve Johnson miracle.
Yeah, he's been really wasteful tonight, Stevie Johnson. And Darcy, yeah, I think Simon Goodwin coming from Adelaide and the coaching staff coming from Geelong, they were staggered by how unfit Essendon were as a playing group as a whole. And they did get hammered over summer. And I don't think James Hird's too disappointed if they do fall away fitness-wise or fatigued, because he feels they have to step it up again next year as well.
Ryder kicks to the wing. Scarlett picks off Crameri. Smashes it over the line.
So there's a belief that it's not something you can fix in one pre-season.
No.
It's going to take 2 or 3 to do it, and there's a chance they'll tire, you know, as we've seen maybe at stages in this year. But the idea is to just keep pushing them harder than they have been before.
Yeah, no doubt. And get bigger and stronger as well.
Howlett. To the bottom of all that, another bounce. Leading stat getters in the game. Heppel 11 and Melksham 10 and Hardingham 10 for Essendon for the Cats. 8 each to Menzel and Johnson.
See Fletcher there standing in front of Menzel. That is a matchup they love, releasing Dustin Fletcher.
Chapman's been quiet. Forced to release in the tackle. McVeigh somehow got it to Heppel. Fends off, loses the football. Here's Christensen. Great little handball off to Motlop. Play on. Great acceleration from Motlop. Just can't quite finish off his good work. Exciting play nevertheless. A point to Geelong.
So with Fletcher, they'll want to keep him on Menzel all night. And if Hibbard does the job on Stevie Johnson and Hurley does the job on Podsy as it's going at the moment, they'll be able to keep that matchup going.
Well done by Fletcher. And he has it with Hibbard. Long, Hill arriving late, and in front Mackie. Good, strong effort. Stalwart for Geelong down the back, into the 50 he goes. Johnson climbing in. Otten's there too. Kelly, just time enough to get the leverage on the kick and break the drought for the Cats.
Finally get one against the flow of the play, do the Cats via James Kelly, and it was not a regulation goal by any stretch of the imagination. They had to work hard for it. It's a really good front and centre crumb from James Kelly. And you can see the disappointment on Mark McVeigh's face, but one long overdue for Geelong.
You see Brendan McCartney sitting next to James Hird. I know Bomber Thompson was the coach, but he's been a real architect this week in analysing the Geelong Football Club and what the Bombers should do. And he's been a real breath of fresh air for the Essendon Footy Club this year.
31 minutes between goals for the Cats. Here's Zaharakis. Pumps it long. No mark to Mackie. Lurking dangerously is Monfries. Here's Hunt. Quick handball to Bartel. Off to the running Wojcinski, who'll take on Paddy Ryder. Ryder tries to chase him down. Gets him. Fantastic stuff. Umpire calls play on. Lucky to get away with that Wojcinski. Hurley dishes off the handball. So the Bombers win back the football, but that's not a great kick. And the mark's taken by Taylor.
Oh, if that sort of stuff doesn't stir the blood in your veins, you haven't got real blood in there. Here's Brown for Geelong. High hanger. Ottens is there. Can't hang on. Ling was going to go onto his right side. Howlett for Essendon. And the Bombers work it out. Maybe not for long. Ryder was there again to try and hold things up. Zaharakis too, and the Dons win the day, and they win it well. And Welsh, speaking of winning days, he's having a big one. Kick not great. Crammery trying to make something of it. Taylor, though, for Geelong, coughs it up. Zaharakis to Jetta, to Reemers from a long way. The goal unguarded. It just missed.
I want to take you back to this centre square bounce, just the last one, and Paddy Ryder, have a look at that. Magnificent stuff to Stanton, and then he followed up inside 50, chased down Wojcinski, who is almost uncatchable with his leg speed. How good is that? What a great response it's been from Paddy Ryder after a really tough week.
Crammery, a big crunching tackle on Taylor, forces the spillage. It's inside Essendon's attacking 50. A stoppage. Clearances in this match. Geelong have evened it up somewhat. Essendon's still in front, though, 14-10.
We've been speaking glowingly of Essendon, but unless they maintain this for the full 120 minutes, they will not beat Geelong. That's how good this team is at Geelong, but they are not functioning up forward. They cannot find a winner.
Otten's won that one to Ling. Here's Monfries, caught a little high. Fed out by Melksham. Now Christensen. Slick little hands there. But the pressure from Essendon again forces spillage. 50 out from their goal. And another bounce. No easy possessions for the Cats down back. Ling forced to kick hurriedly.
And high. And no one was ever going to mark it. Ryder in there again. Here's Ling. Just looking for the free, in the end having to get it out. Podsiadly, that was well done into the corridor. Chapman hasn't had much impact. That was excellent to Stokes. Fletcher arriving. Oh, if that had sat for him, he might have wreaked havoc. He goes sideways. Please don't penalise him. It's not going to go out anyway. And the high contact by Monfries. Clear free kick. Brown to take it.
Oh, he's been a genius for 17 years of his career. He has saved Essendon so many times. Another super effort. Inspector Gadget.
Had it gone out of bounds, I had a horrible fear that the umpire might ruin the party. Enright. Oh, this is a wonderful contest. That's a good kick. Beautiful ball to Podsiadly.
Yeah, don't underestimate how good that kick is, Tim, because there were a lot of numbers back for the Bomber defence, and you just see a few hands on hips, so just a little bit of a sign of fatigue, but they had their structure pretty well in place. So Enright had to hit it 50, but he couldn't get it any air time at all because it would have allowed them to go back. So that's a really special skill, to be able to keep it hard low and still get the length in it to make it exactly the way Podsiadly needed it.
Enright's kick deserves a goal, but it's a testing shot. This too will need to be a very good kick. It's not bad. It's not quite good enough. Halfway through the quarter, Essendon by 11 points. The equivalent match last year, the Bombers had Kurt Fernley spend a couple of days at their club, the disabled athlete, and they raised a mighty effort early, but then were blown away in the second half. We have to wait and see what happens tonight.
That is still the challenge, isn't it, to take on this great side who are just so competitive. They hate losing. They always find a will to win. It will be a test. Have they got the legs? At some stage, they might just need to slow it down for a little while, 10 minutes, try and just take some time, play a bit of possession footy and allow themselves enough energy to really surge again and fight out the full 4 quarters.
Matthew Scarlett having another spell on the interchange bench, still with just the one handball. Andrew Welsh, 6 possessions, 2 goals, a huge win for Essendon.
Quick kick by Stanton. Crammery, well done, playing in front and rewarded. And he's off. Not a lot to kick to. And he made a meal of that one. And he drives Kelli into the ground. Umpire says play on. As the Bombers work it to centre half forward.
That's all good.
He's blowing hard as Stuart Crammery. Great story about how he found his way into the AFL. Stanton ducks the tackle. And that could be holding the ball, and it'll be a Geelong free kick. Going against Prismal.
So good, Geelong, at weathering the storm. They have been under siege from the Bombers, but somehow they just don't allow too many goals, just a 6 against.
Heppel slipping under the tackle. Won a free if he wanted it. They go on. McVeigh, and again Welsh working hard and working Scarlett over in a way we've rarely seen. He's got the fire in his eyes, Andrew Welsh. Off to Prismal. Decides to go onto the left, and he'll regret that. He kicks straight to Harry Taylor. The balance seems to have been restored. It had swung decidedly Essendon's way with 6 straight goals, but Geelong have just slowed things down a little. There's a lovely leap and mark by Kyle Hardingham, who's been fearless down the back, to Monfries, to Hocking. And good vision, good execution. Hurley, promising build up this. That kick's not good though. Enright taking it over.
We spent a fair bit of time in our build up to the game talking about the fact that the Cats players might want to prove a point to their old coach Bomber Thompson and just remind him that perhaps he should have stayed. But I think we underestimated just how important the intelligence was going to be from Brendan McCartney and also Bomber Thompson. They've really just challenged the Cats structurally in a way that they haven't been before, with some unusual matchups. Welsh forward has really worked, and having the matchup of Hurley in defence, so a lot going right for Essendon.
Kick finds Mackie. Not the best of handballs. Heppel's been absolutely magnificent. Hard to believe he's playing his first season of league football and he's still a teenager. Attacking it hard was Cramery. Good stuff. And it's about 35 metres out from Essendon's goal.
Tight, tough quarter. 2 goals to 1 the Bombers' way. And there hasn't been one for a little while. Vardy and Ryder. Kelly. Ruckman will contest again.
Here's Dustin Fletcher at centre-half back. Behind him, he's actually got the matchup of Stokes at the moment. And you're right, Lloyd, he's getting the opponents that he wants, and that's allowing him to pay no respect at all and fill the gaps to make it really hard to get through.
Brilliant Steve Johnson ploughing his way through, down in unfamiliar territory. His kick, though, not getting an immediate result. Fletcher with support. Hardingham covering a lot of territory. Melksham has Hill in short, uses him. Inside is Prismal, receives, kicking quickly, kicking pretty well. And Cramery is out on a similar patch of turf, but he's called to play on here. He does it well. Zaharakis from a better spot right in front.
Can he break his drought, David Zaharakis? Poor effort here from Brad Ottens. Not sure what he was thinking it was going to go over the back, but he had to make a contest with Cramery. Pretty poor, and that's what pressure does to you. But Zaharakis needs to take his chance while they're on top.
Bombers haven't kicked one for a while. Zaharakis puts things right. Essendon by 17.
As we mentioned a couple of times, the structural things the Bombers have absolutely got in their favour at the moment. Scarlett, who normally sets up all the play in defence, can't get into the game at all, so that is a massive win. Welsh doing the job, just one possession. And at the other end, they're not making Dustin Fletcher accountable, and so he is able to get himself in the right spots and have a big influence.
Zaharakis finally cracks it from a set shot. Bombers lead by 17, down to Kelli Underwood.
A real concern for the Cats surrounding Steve Johnson. He just jogged from the ground. He was holding his left shoulder, his left arm a little awkwardly. And as you can see, just in the race at the moment, getting some treatment from the docks.
Clearance goes Essendon's way to Stanton. With the mark taken at half-back for Geelong by Wojcinski. Here's the first kick for the match for Matthew Scarlett. As he goes long to centre-half forward, the big pack fly, and guess who? Heppel again. Great handball, clever handball under pressure. Now Stanton in the middle. Beautiful pass. Oh, spilling the beans was Welsh. Bad miss there. He was within range too. Now Hunt for Geelong. Chips back into the middle, mark taken by Chapman.
Oh, what a costly moment that was. He would have been lining up again. Hibbert arrives. makes a contest when one didn't appear likely. Heppel surrounded, cool of head. Hibbard slipping the tackle, did it well, and Ryder. It's all coming back for Patrick Ryder tonight. Long ball, Reamers reading it beautifully as Jetta, and the open goal is staring him in the face.
Cat down at the moment, and it looks like Daniel Menzel, I think. And it was some redemption immediately for Andrew Welsh. He dropped an absolute sitter, but the way he committed his body this last contest has absolutely got the goal straight back. And on top of that, it looks as though it is Daniel Menzel who's in a bit of...
Daniel Menzel in that contest went down writhing in pain. He looked in all sorts of bother, but he's up now. Let's have a look at a replay.
It's the front on contact. Yeah, wasn't it? Look, the effort from Andrew Welsh was fantastic. We saw him drop an absolute sitter mark before. It was going to result in a certain shot at goal, but the way he attacked the next contest was just fantastic.
Things going skewy for the Cats. Menzel's hobbling off. Johnson's down injured with what appears to be a shoulder problem. Johnson is back on now, so he's okay for the time being anyway, and the Cats find themselves 23 points down. No mark to Brown. Well done by Hardingham. Chips over the hill, and he's happy to see it over the line. So let's have another look at this Menzel incident as he hobbles off.
Hopefully,
Cork knee, maybe?
And maybe a cork to the knee or a cork thigh.
So Johnson's back on, that's good news. Essendon by 23 points. Melksham, great tackle by Stokes, pinning the arm, and the umpire will award a free kick.
What is a bloke supposed to do, I think, was the message from that ball tossed by Melksham.
He pops it up into the hole. Podsiadly attacks it, no mark. Front and centre was Prismal. Oh! He got caught high by Johnson. He took him on. But it's a free kick going to the former Cats. Now a Bomber, Brent Prismal.
He's all right. Get your legs out, please. Thank you.
Little short one finds Hibbard.
It's what Darcy spoke about, slowing things down, maybe maintain their lead, but there's still 3.5 minutes to go. Got to be very careful here that they don't get choked up by the Cats.
That was great play from Dustin Fletcher there. He ran 100 metres just to drag an opponent to clear space at this side of the ground and then told Hibbard where to kick it.
Hardingham wide with the kick. The idea was right. Heppel was on. It's Geelong's ball. The Cats staring at a 23-point deficit after kicking the first 3 goals of the night. They've had 8 of the last 9 kicked against them. Scarlett's second kick to Motlop. Quick dab forward is wide and over. I think David Parkin once asked the question about how coaches could possibly understand what goes on in the hearts and minds of young men who play football. Well, that question's on the drawing board tonight in relation to Essendon, because they were inept last week. They lacked heart and soul, and tonight they have produced all of that and more.
And we just saw a shot of Matty Scarlett. For some reason, they've released Andrew Welsh off him, and Welsh is playing as a normal forward. You do not let him off the hook, because his first kick was on Stuart Cranberry. I'd get back on him and limit his effect on the game.
Prismal, quick kick, but loose in midfield. Enright, good kick. Again, he's dangerous with his feet. Bartel to Ling, and from a long way, the captain pulls one back.
Just a rush kick there from Brent Prismal, and that's what Corey Enright has done for years. That's a great spot up to James Bartel, and Lingy's a really good finisher for goal. And you see James Herbie disappointed in that. They've had the foot on the throat for a long time, and that's how quick Geelong can score.
Ling's 10th goal for the season, cuts the margin back to 17 points. Menzel looks okay. That's good news. Taylor and Kelli also having a break. And they'll recall that one, the umps.
Which gives me time just to drop in a little record. Cameron Ling's goal is 132nd in his league career, a record for Guernsey number 45, breaking the mark established by Ricky Jackson.
Right of the tap to Hocking. Jams it on the boot. Overrunning it was Jetta. It was a tough one to trap. Wojcinski got to be clean here, and he is. Good handball to Enright. Heppel. And looks like Welsh might have done a hamstring for Essendon, which is terrible news, as the Cats have the ball at half forward. Chapman. So Welsh is hobbling off. Cats go deep into attack. Otten's in front. Fletcher does the spalling. Here's Podsiadly. Right foot snap misses. And let's have a look at the replay of Andrew Welsh, who's just come off the ground. Twang. And that is terrible news. He was having a good night, Matthew.
That is a disaster, Lloyd. He's had a history of hamstrings.
He's had a lot of soft tissue.
Yeah.
He went to play against the Gold Coast and in the warm-up tore his calf. And he's been fighting really hard. He's had a lot of doubts about himself and his body. And would have felt as good as he's felt about himself for a year or two now. So that's disastrous for him individually.
Maybe James Hird was reading the future in making that move a little ahead of time.
Yeah. Structurally, that will really hurt the Bombers.
Here's Hocking out wide for Stanton. Kelli Underwood quickly on Andrew Welsh.
Straight away, the sub, Travis Colley, has taken the green vest off, so he'll come on very shortly.
But over a minute left. Hurley. Bombers by 16. They don't want to give up any more of it. Cats kick the last goal to prune it back from out near 4 goals. Long ball. Ryder, 2 against him. Monfrey's almost escaped with the crumb. Wojcinski. Vardy, quick hand. Scarlett. Very Geelong-like this move. Kelli, it's open up front. Good hand pass. Releasing Motlop on the break from a long way. Good ball. Hurley there. It falls okay for the Dons.
And the worst part of football is injuries. And look at Andrew Welsh, the despair for a man who's made a great start to the game and can rip your heart out at times, this game of football.
Heath Hocking.
Yeah, you
Kicks
really
to
feel,
Ryder.
don't you, for Andrew Welsh, who's just playing such a great team-orientated role, 28 years of age, you know, back into the side. You'd have to say, you know, his career's right at the crossroads. Do they go with him? If he has a great second half of the year, absolutely. And now he's going to have at least 3 or 4 weeks as Stanton's penalised, which you can see what the Bomber fans think of it.
Well, they're not going to pay a price for it because the quarter is just about over as Ling bangs it long. The big fist came from Ryder. Here's Jetta. And that ends the first half. And I just wonder how the punter, who had $1 million on Geelong before the game, is feeling at half-time. The Bombers lead in what is a great game of football by 15 points.
The upside for Geelong is so many of them and so many of their champion players have had poor halves. Stevie Johnson was wasteful with 11 disposals in set. Corey Enright just 10 disposals. Paul Chapman 10. The upside is big for them, but not if Essendon can keep applying that pressure.
So it is a 15-point lead Essendon's way as the second half starts. And away go the Bombers. Melksham drawing the tackler, giving it off. Collier's on for Welsh and lands it with Davey. Right in front, 25 out.
Well, a little bit of luck with the kick, but they had a really good setup going as well. They had Scarlett manned up one-on-one with Cranberry, which is really important to do. You can see Melksham gives this one off. But look at the forward line. Look at the movement. Davies moving. Cranberry's moving. They got defenders pushing inside 50. You want chaos in a forward line. You don't want anything stagnant, and that is why you get rewarded. The kick might not have been perfect, but there was enough movement to cause some unrest.
Well, he was centering. He put it in the right spot, Collier, and Davey puts it in the right spot, right through the middle. That is a big goal, and it's straight back out to 21 points.
Lloyd, one of the things I think that they really need to do, we spoke about Andrew Welsh going off and doing his hamstring, it's a tragedy, but Matty Scarlett is as important a player as Geelong have got in terms of the way the whole game is played. So Quartermain now gets the role, but he's got to do the same defensive stuff Welsh was doing to keep Scarlett down, because he's one of the best players in the last 20 years, Matty Scarlett, in my opinion, but he can still lose confidence in a half a footy. They need to keep that up on him.
You can, Darcy. And the other aspect which I think Bomber Thompson McCartney have identified with Geelong is Harry Taylor on the last line of defence as often as possible. They've found him to be vulnerable, and tonight he has dropped a few balls deep in the last line of defence.
Christensen, a high and long inside 50. Hibbert got into the back of his opponent, and that's the way the umpire saw it too. A free kick going to Steve Johnson.
Well, Hibbert's going back thinking it's his free kick, and it was just a little bit clever there from Stevie Johnson. He backed back in to Hibbert in a position that he wasn't expecting, forced him to give away a free kick.
Missed 2 puds in the first quarter, did Steve Johnson, and that shot for goal is still in play. Hurley tapped it to Hibbert, off to Hill, to Prismal. Good tackle by Johnson. No prior opportunity. This from Podsiadly kept it alive. So it's in Geelong's forward pocket. They're down by 21 points. Hill got the tap to Hibbert. Hocking. Taylor takes the mark. About 55 metres out from goal. Essendon pushing huge numbers back.
He likes his chances here, Harry Taylor.
Don't see him kick too many. He's kicked 8 in his 79-game career.
Not one this year.
No donuts this year for Harry. From 55, he hooks it. Well, the distance okay. Cats trail by 20.
One thing Geelong is going to be a factor tonight. They don't have a power forward. Obviously, Podsiadly's down, and usually they'll need him to kick 3 or 4, but without Mooney, without Hawkins, they do need probably Chapman or a Stevie Johnson to kick 4 or 5 to win them the game tonight.
And yet neither of those two have been big factors in their season so far, have they? They find a way without an array of star forwards. But tonight they've been beaten in the middle of the ground. Essendon just so willing for the scrap tonight. The ball up. The Bombers have kicked 9 of the last 11 goals in the match. Not often you get that sort of tide against Geelong. Find out a bit about the Cats through this second half. This mix of the old and the new. Christensen over the ball here, and he's going to be pinged. So it's Essendon's footy. Hibbert acquitting himself so well. Melksham getting better. Hocking, Stanton, consistent contributor. Back to Melksham. Did well to get his foot to it, but he didn't get much of it. Mackie in the way. Hunt of the lovely left boot. Heppel is there with Chapman. Collier roving it. Busy since coming on. Heppel kicked one in the first half. Stolen from Zaharakis by Chapman. Menzel banging it clear for the Cats. For how long, though? There was a hold, and it's Pears to take the free kick.
They did clear defensive 50, Tim, but that is not the normal way that Geelong get out of their back half. They are normally so good at just linking up, running through, and not having to kick it to a one-on-one. So again, the forward pressure of the Bombers starting really well in the second half.
Monfries to Hocking, who takes on Christensen, wins out with strength. Hibbert's had a ripping game. Off to Crameri. Tough angle. Kicks to the tip of the goal square. Enright decides safety first and went the spoil.
Brad Otten sitting on the bench. Nathan Vardy in the ruck. Brad Otten's yet to have a kick of the football. I think they need his dominance around stoppages for them to get back into this match.
Right of the tap. Hocking immediately wrapped up. 25 metres out from Essendon's goal.
I think Michael Hurley going back. I think that's his best spot, centre half back. I think he's been a huge factor in the game tonight, assisting Dustin Fletcher.
Vardy and Ryder. Umpire being patient, hoping it'll come out, but it won't.
Interesting to hear you say that on Michael Hurley. He played all his junior footy as a fullback, genuine fullback. He was an All-Australian twice as an under-18 in that role. They've chosen to use him as a forward, but you genuinely think that that's where they should play him from here on?
Yeah, I think just because it's been a needs basis, they haven't had forwards because they've had Pears, hooker.
Here's Collier. Oh, hitting the woodwork.
Yeah,
boy, if the Bombers can kick another goal or two here, it's going to be very difficult for Geelong to get back.
Oh, it is, and they don't look like finding a goal at the moment, but yeah, it does. Because of hooker, Pears, Fletcher, he's had to play forward, but I genuinely believe centre-half back is his best spot.
Scarlett's target is Taylor. Takes a good mark in front of Heppel. Had the size there. Much more comfortable floating around centre half back as Harry Taylor than deep in defence. Mark taken by Brown. He's quiet. He and Pears haven't had much influence on the game. They've got Gillies sitting on the bench as a sub of the Cats. He was a late inclusion for Joel Corey. Here's Taylor again. Kicks to the hot spot. Johnson caught behind, forced to spoil. Knocked away by Hardingham. Fortunately falls in the arms of Hocking. He finds Zaharakis. Out to Pears. Pears to the wing. Monfries is lurking dangerously. Can't get the kind bounce. And the man with the $1 million on the Cats just starting to look a bit nervous on the couch at home.
Well, he's not getting much run going at the moment.
There's the short kicks. Essendon 61-22 to Geelong. They're looking to spot up and keep Geelong players honest so they can't zone off.
Bombers are on top. Davey, Hill, running like a rover. Thought of the hand pass, decided on the long bomb to an unguarded goal. And gets a throw in. Deep in attack. Essendon looking the team more likely to kick goals right now.
That may well be one of the secrets to playing against Geelong, is just not allowing them any opportunity to zone off to get players on their own.
Here's Ryder out of the air and right through the middle.
Well, it's a long walk to the bench or back to the centre bounce when a ruckman does that on you, and it is exactly what Paddy Ryder hasn't done in the last few weeks. I reckon he's been sensational tonight, responding to a lot of criticism. He just out-muscled young Vardy and jammed through a brilliant goal.
Essendon with their biggest lead in the match, 27 points. Hocking, little underground handball towards Jetta, picked up by Enright, just kicks hurriedly. And the Bombers will get there first. McVeigh dives, can't quite take the slips catch. Oh, that's a high hit. That'll be a free kick, and McVeigh is not happy. But he's got the free kick. That hurt the AC joint, that one.
Wojcinski, it was, coming in very hard.
Wojcinski, was it? Yep.
I don't know whether he did get him high, actually.
Certainly felt it. Mark McVeigh down the line. No mark to Menzel. Mackie. Good pressure again from the Essendon forward. Zaharakis handballs into space. Ling's there. Tried to find Hunt. He got caught a bit high. Umpire let it go. Good tackle from Crameri. And Reema's chipped in as well. Scarlett in there working hard. 50 metres, so another goal coming up for the Bombers. This will make it 33 points. And Collier has limped off for Essendon. This is a bad sign. He was their sub, and he's also off.
The Geelong player there, Josh Hunt, saying that he didn't swear, and another player, Mark McVeigh, also saw. So that could be the one chance Geelong's got of getting back into this game if Essendon down to 1 on the bench, but that is the frustration. They're being challenged, and a lot of these players aren't responding too well for Geelong.
It's mayhem.
See Josh Hunt there in set. The free kick's given away for too high.
There's no doubt Scarlett had a headlock.
Yeah, he did. And Josh Hunt gets up and abuses the umpire. And he says he didn't swear at him, but they're under pressure and they're showing it, the Cats.
The Bombers have kicked 11 goals to 2 since Geelong's early break. It's actually been a slaughter.
I think all of us are expecting the Cats just to switch, flip the switch and put the foot down and get back in this game. There is no sign at all at the moment of that happening.
I reckon our punter is in very deep trouble. Here goes Chapman, Wojcinski, Reimers, Essendon like caged lions. Here's Scarlett, he's had a shocker. Taylor helps him out. It's a Cat free kick. This is not how it was meant to be. As the Cats confronted their old coach, Bomber Thompson. 3 goals to none, and the script appeared carved in stone. Scarlett into Podsiadly at half forward, all Essendon. Prismal, beautiful delivery. Monfries. Stanton running into a hole for him. Receiving. Crowded up ahead. Goes wide, Ryder. Roving him Jetta, Mackie there too. Menzel, Wojcinski confronted by Prismal, fended him off high. It hurt. It's a free kick to Prismal. So much offend as just a jump into his upper regions.
I like the umpire leaning over and saying, "Are you bleeding, mate? Have a look. I've got a sore head. What do you reckon's going on at the moment?"
Kelly, any news on Travis Collier?
Well, they can't afford any more injuries, can they? Collier has just gone down into the rooms, couldn't put any weight on his left leg. It looks like it might be an ankle injury, so momentarily they're down to 2 on the bench.
Prismal placing it to the top of the square. Menzel just blazing away and kicking straight to Pears. Fletcher, oh, he had them in his sights. Podsiadly the spoil. Hibbert did well. The Pod fights on. He's got plenty of opposition, though.
They're fanatical at the moment,
Yeah.
the Bombers. Look at them just pile in over the top. They had more numbers at the contest. It's just been something really special tonight from the Essendon Football Club. If anything, they have taken it to another level. Clearances 8-1 so far for the quarter. Bombers on fire.
Pears taps it in the Fletcher direction. Just manages to get boot to ball. Duncan off to Kelly. Good kick, well weighted, and the mark's taken by Brown. And boy, do the Cats need a steadier.
That was a rare case where they got it out the back. A good work there from Duncan. Released to James Kelly, used the ball really well, and they got a one-on-one. Dustin Fletcher's been able to control the airwaves. Michael Hibbard has as well. And it's an understatement to say they desperately need this one from Mitch Brown.
3 goals on debut last week. Must-kick goal for Geelong. The Bombers by 32.
Chris Scott, who has broken the record for the most wins at the start of a league coaching career, formerly held by Johnny Leonard at South Melbourne in the early 1930s. Looks as though it might come to grief tonight, but here go the Cats again. Duncan from on the 50 and kicking a goal. It's a long climb, but it starts with the first step.
There's no doubt there's enough time for Geelong if they're good enough, and we've seen them do it many a time from here. Their pressure is always maintained, and that keeps them in the hunt, but they have to take chances like Duncan did just there. Mitch Brown can't afford to miss many more like that.
So the margin has been cut back to 26 points There's Gillies on the bench, the sub for Geelong. James Hird watches on. Certainly the upset of the season brewing. Cats work it forward, but only as far as Hardingham. Oh, it's a risky old kick to Prismal. Cutting it off is Bartel. Johnson's there. Prismal will have another crack here. Johnson into the picture. Fed it back to Bartel, who just threw it out in the end. Got away with it. Stokes off to Motlop from the impossible angle. Made a good fist of it. Across the face. Oh. Pontiagli's taken the mark. The angle will be acute, but they have an uncanny knack of this. Explain the way they kick these set shots, Matthew.
Yeah, he's learnt this off Stevie Johnson. They just open up the angle, so it's like a Gaelic football kick, just standing on the side like this. And it's usually as easy as you like, but he sank that one.
It was a pass.
He's completely hit the wrong side of the footy there. I mean, that is, you actually couldn't do that if you tried. Have a look at the pod. He's going, what happened there?
Mark's taken by Mitch Brown. And that's what confronts him. That's even harder. He goes to Banana. And he gets a point.
But you do feel like the momentum's changed in the last minute. The Bombers, here's the pod's replay. As you said, Darcy, hit the wrong part of the footy, but you just wonder the effect now. The Bombers down to 2 on the interchange bench, whether they can run out this last 40 minutes of football.
One wonders whether the pod really has perfected that one on the training track. Bombers under the heat here. Fletcher bangs it clear. Oh, crashing through went Menzel. Only problem was he missed the footy and opened the door, but now Scarlett comes the other way for the Cats to Ling. Couldn't hang on. Plenty of support. Stokes being quiet, looks for the right target, just couldn't hit it. Chapman being well contained. Ryder, Prismal, Stanton, very good. Howlett, Melksham, been a good battler for Essendon, but here's Ling again from outside 50. The pod there once more, Fletcher.
Hurley.
Or was it Hurley got the hand onto it?
It was Fletcher-like, Tim, in fairness to you. You've seen him do it about 8,000 times with a long arm on the line, but they are just still standing up, the Bombers, to this pressure. You're right, there's a momentum shift, Lloydie, but so far the Cats haven't scored.
But I feel like they're just slowing up us. They're just chipping it round, and Geelong are getting it the way they like it, setting players that back behind the footy. And look at this, they're open now, the Cats.
Hunt to Chapman. Beautiful handball to Wajinski, who loads up from 48. It's another one.
Well, here they come.
It was 33, Luke. It's now 18,
yeah.
the diff.
And we are just seeing some signs of a little bit of a shift in the way the game's being played. What I still like from an Essendon point of view is that they are trying, they are working hard to put some defensive pressure on, but it was always going to happen at some stage. A side of this quality, who've won so many close games, were going to surge. This is it.
Well, there's a skipper. He did his hamstring last week against the Hawks. And then you go to the interchange bench. Welsh is down. Collier looks like he's done for the night. 18 points isn't a lot at Etihad Stadium. You just wonder whether the tide's going against the Bombers right now.
Well, they still lead by 3 goals. Chapman, Hunt. They can't afford to start doubting themselves. Enright forced wide. First man there, well, Heppel and Menzel dead heated. Heppel wins. Hurley. Podsiadly confronting him. Howlett. Heppel again. Cats really starting to turn the screw. But Essendon hold up. Howlett. That's a very good ball. Prismal. Flares it. Kicks it well. Melksham. Enright arrives. Sees it over.
.55 out from the Bombers' goal.
Great sign there for Travis Collier. We thought he might have been done for the night, but the way he's moving on the boundary line, he looks like he's not far off from coming back onto the ground.
Otten's fed it out to Ling, forced to kick hurriedly on the left. Backing back bravely with the flight of the ball was Heppel. Tap forward by Podsiadly. Here's Ryder swooping. Hard one to pick up, head over the pill. Stokes did well. Off to Motlop, not a lot on offer, twist, turns, and tries to square it up and successfully does so in the end to Stokes. Stokes wants to keep the ball moving. Back to Motlop. A long-range kick is a goal. Another one for the Cats. That was brilliant play from Stephen Motlop.
Yeah, you can see some class there in that young man, the brother of Daniel from Port Adelaide, who has got a really full bag of tricks. He's had some serious shoulder problems as a young footballer, and great to see him just stepping up in a really important game. They're going to need some of these young faces to get the job done.
The Cats have just activated their sub, as we can see. Tom Lonergan has put the red vest on, so he is out for the rest of the game. And Gillies has just run onto the ground. Good news for the Bombers. Travis Collier has been down in the rooms. He's had his left knee strapped, but he's playing on.
Bit of Ned Kelly about Tom Gillies. Cats within 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. The entries have been 9-4 their way. The game has turned. Chapman, long high ball. Podsiadly there. Hurley the big fist on it. The bounce favouring Essendon. Johnson still a chance though. Hocking over it. Ball up.
I love the way Heath Hocking plays the game, Lloyd. I thought he was their best player last week when a lot weren't really competing hard enough, and you just saw then coming back, he's trying to play on Steve Johnson. He just went in lower and harder then. Always know what you're going to get from Heath Hocking.
11 minutes ago, it was 33 points the difference. The margin is now 12.
Look at this matchup now, Darcy, how the game has changed. Geelong getting it back on their terms. Matty Scarlett picking up Kyle Reimers.
Stokes won the hard ball to Chapman. Bang!
Four goals in a row to the Cats.
They're on a roll now, Lookie.
Oh, yes, they are, Quarters. And look, we thought it was going to come. And who would dare suggest that a side of this quality didn't have a massive surge in them? Some of their gun players, isn't it, getting involved. They're pretty quiet tonight, Paul Chapman. But starting to really impose himself again.
Hasn't the body language changed, us? Only 6 or 7 minutes ago, you couldn't have seen more glamour faces than the Cats cheer squad, and they are up and about now, just like their footy team.
Just a goal in it, and the Cats might turn for home in front. Essendon really needs something special now. Someone's got to reactivate them.
Just some worrying signs as we look at contested possession the last 10 minutes. There it is. It's just that unbelievable desire this group of players have. They expect to win every time they go out and play, and they, for the last half a dozen seasons, they very rarely lose, but their run outside the edges of the pack is a bit strong at the moment for the Bombers.
Heppel and Ryder combining to get them forward. Zaharakis, Monfries and Hill looked at each other. Monfries went just in time, and he is a goal kicker. Kicked a couple from set shots earlier in the night at this end of the ground, and he should be able to finish here.
Good vision there from Zaharakis, and Geelong are at the type of side you have to keep scoring yourself. You cannot contain them, and Monfries, this is a desperate... we spoke about Mitch Brown before. Just like that, Monfries needs to kick this one.
To calm things down. Right the ship. And that's what he does. He has 3.
I think he's been a beneficiary, Angus Monfries, of hitting up the shorts. He's been lost a little bit in the game style that James Hurd's had, going long inside 50 to the talls. He's found his niche again tonight with a different setup against this all-conquering Geelong side.
Mark Thompson, the former Cats coach, watches on. Chris Scott, 13 straight to start his career. So steadier for the Bombers as Howlett kicks to half forward with a little inside out kick to Zaharakis. Handball's okay. Stanton just needs the kind bounce, gets it. Under pressure, finds Monfries. Now back to Stanton, little toe poke to Prismal. Now they're in trouble, the Bombers, to Zaharakis. He's run down, holding the ball.
That was a really big 50-50 contest, that, wasn't it? Nearly spilled out, another inside 50 of the Bombers, but the hunger and the ability to win that contested possession. We've just spoken about the Cats getting back on top.
Here's Stokes. Bit of indecision from the Bombers' defence. Hardingham goes at the end. Off to McVeigh. Clever tap over the top to Hibbert. Now Collier. Davy's got the leg speed. Davy can go. He's got a loose man inside 50. It's Big Hill. He takes the mark. He'll go back. No one. He'll handball on. He'll give it back to Hill. Oh, they've stuffed it up, the Bombers. He'll give it back to Remus. And all's well that ends well.
That was very close to being a car crash. He just couldn't understand. I still don't understand why you handball that. You go back and kick it. You'd have to hit Lloyd with a sledgehammer and try and get that out of his hands. And everyone wants to give it away. I don't understand it. Just so lucky. So lucky that didn't end in disaster.
I think he needs something stronger than water.
Kyle Remus can do it to you.
Oh, with a bit of help from David Hill. So, Essendon steady and again lead by 3 goals. This has been a terrific response as it looked as though Geelong might sweep the game away from them.
And you just wonder if this next 3 minutes of this third quarter will tell the tale where this game will go.
Still plenty of football left in it. Otten's a very lean night. Kelli now for Geelong. And Otten's miseries are compounded. Missing his shorts, Kelli fights on and draws high contact. Looks as though there's been a bit of low contact as well. And a punter in town who might lose his shorts tonight is Josh Hunt. As for Christensen, not a big man, never going to be easy for him there. Cramery fighting hard. Howlett helps him out. Well played, Ben Howlett. Wonderfully done. Now Collier back from the grave. High lob for Hill with the height advantage. Nothing Mackie could do. And the Bombers, full of resilience on this extraordinary night. Centering ball, Ottens gets back and fills the hole for Geelong.
Out wide, looks for Brown. Ball kept alive to half forward. Kick was by Menzel. Podsiadly one-on-one with Hurley. Great stuff from the 2 men. Podsiadly won't give up. Bombers get the numbers there eventually. Hibbert to Heppel. Over the top to Ryder. Melksham. Now Pears. Jetta. Turnover. Menzel. Comes back though to Jetta. Quick hands in the clinches here. Great passage of play, a bounce on centre wing.
A few young Bombers have stood up in this third quarter. Ben Howlett, 12 disposals for the quarter, and Melksham only averages 14 possessions a game. He's up to 19. He's had a big quarter as well.
Jimmy Bartell just off the bench. He's had 11 disposals tonight. Last 4 games against Essendon, he's averaged 31 per match. He got one there. It wasn't terribly effective. Hibbert, Melksham, Hocking. Geelong applying pressure, high contact. Free kick Chapman. But Jack Melksham has been tremendous for Essendon. And just the way he threw everything at Chapman, I think, was worthwhile. Now Scarlett from the centre circle. Long high ball. Vardy in front. Fine grab.
Well, Michael Hurley's had a brilliant duel with the pod. And he just got a little change of match up there. And young Vardy, who's had a difficult night tonight. This is only disposal number 4 coming up. He's got a bit of extra height than Podsiadly, and he stood really tall, the young man, and took a big contested mark. How impressive has it been to see the Bombers respond once when the Cats kicked 4 goals in a row, and now again it's Geelong with 45 seconds left in the quarter, and this is a massive goal as we head into the 3/4 time break, provided he kicks it.
Turned 20 a week ago, 6 games under his belt, including tonight's big moment. Kicked a goal at this end in the first quarter. Misses the set shot. Time to think. The pressure multiplies, and it told.
It did, and he's been dominated in the ruck tonight by Paddy Ryder and to a lesser extent David Hill. Brad Ottens has been disappointing too with just the 1 kick on the night, but James Hird, he'll be feeling much better than he did this time last week.
Kicks in the Hill direction. Back of the pack is Gillies, who was the sub.
Just uncharacteristically a few times in the last 10 minutes, the Bomber defences will Scarlett lead up and try and kill the footy, went out the back, and Harry Taylor a few times as well. They've been able to get the Geelong defence running back with the fly of the footy, and it's made them feel nervous.
Hocking to Heppel. Milksham to Zaharakis. Jetta's spread. Beautiful running. He's going to run out of time, unfortunately, but it was beautifully done by Jetta as he goes inside 50. And the Bombers at the final change will take a 17-point lead.
It was 15 points at half-time. They won the quarter, 17 points now. We're in for an absolute beauty quarters in this last quarter.
Been a fascinating insight into the way that Bomber Thompson, Brendan McCartney have strategically gone about this game. They've really put a heap of work into Matty Scarlett. They've made sure that he hasn't had any time where he's been on his own or loose. They've got Michael Hurley play a really important role in the pod and a lot of heat around the footy. Can they keep it up for one more quarter, the Bombers?
Will we see the boil over of season 2011? Essendon, 30 minutes to go, but they have to maintain some positivity. They can't hang on. They've got to score goals. The Cats will come hard. We know that. Ling puts Geelong inside 50. Podsiadly can't take the diving mark. Hurley all over him. Umpire will bounce.
The other thing they've done so well so far in the game has been win the clearances. It's been 30-24 up to 3/4 time in Essendon's favour.
Geelong badly needing the first goal and in a position to get it here, but not immediately.
Geelong have laid 82 tackles compared to Essendon 60, but that is because the Bombers have had almost 100 more possessions than the Cats tonight. Controlled possession of the footy.
So Duncan with the distraction job on Fletcher at the moment. Hardingham getting it off to Inspector Gadget, who goes wide and does it well. Margin 17. If the Cats kick the first couple of goals, they will really send a shiver down the collective Essendon spine.
Ottens and Ryder. Front and centre is Monfries. It wasn't Monfries. Yes, it was Monfries. And it's a high ball, and it's just marked on the line by Enright. So he's going to drill it long into the pocket. Podsiadly sets himself. Almost took a great mark. Chapman snaps. It's a high ball. Camped underneath it is Fletcher. Prismal's also there. Fletcher goes to spoil, attacking it beautifully with Stanton. Heppel, good hands. Milksham in the clinches here. The Bombers got to be clean. Heppel squeezes the kick out into the middle of the ground. Cats have the numbers. One of them is Hunt. Good handball off to Mackie. A long ball, looking for, but unable to find Christensen. Here's Ryder. Zaharakis. Monfries has to release it quickly. Zaharakis desperate. Beautiful handball to Hocking. Now to Crammery. Kicks into the open spaces. Running onto it is Collier. Can't take the mark. Bounces in his favour. Goal! The big first goal goes to the Bombers.
And didn't they play it well? Geelong's pressure was enormous, and they worked the handball out. A really smart kick there from Stuart Crammery into space. Collier too quick for Menzel and runs into an open goal. They weathered the storm for 2 or 3 minutes of that opening stanza in the last quarter.
Massively important first goal of the last quarter goes the way of the Bombers after the Cats came right back to within 6 points there in the third quarter. What I've been really impressed with is how well they've been able to get through the Cats' forward press. They've been able to use it by hand and get through and get some really clear one-on-ones inside 50.
Ling just not able to work it clear. Neither was Bartel. Bombers so tough in those centre crushes. In right out the back, Mackie. Hunt wrong side. Stolen off him by Stanton, who's been very good. But it comes back Geelong's way. Ling, Scarlett now. And Geelong looking for a quick answer to keep themselves in it. And Duncan, from a tough shot, 45 out, 45-degree angle, but it is a genuine scoring chance.
Just felt that goal Essendon got was really one against the play, because the pressure Geelong was putting on Essendon at that stage was enormous. So I think there's still life left in the Cats. I can see this one going right down to the wire. They'll hit back hard.
They've got to grab their opportunities, though. That's the task for Mitch Duncan right now. He kicks well off the boot, but it just hooks enough to hit the post, and the margin is 22 points. I reckon the great achievement of the Essendon coaching panel is they've had this team so devoid of confidence playing instinctive football, and that must have involved a great job of repatching, rebuilding, reprocessing.
Fletcher looks long towards Hill. Good mark taken by Ottens. He's got Johnson loose on the 50, and he kicks in that direction. But chipping in to spoil the day is Michael Hibbert. The 21-year-old's played a great game tonight. He looks for Ryder and finds him at half-back.
It's a good point, Tim. There's no doubt that they would have had a lot of planning, maybe some extra planning meetings this week, because they have got such an intimate knowledge. And I'm sure that Bomber Thompson and Brendan McCartney said, I promise you, if you play this way, you can beat this side. And the plan that they put in place has worked so well.
Holding the ball against Ottens. Free kick go to Hocking. Again, they look for the corridor, the Bombers, as they have for most of the night. Howlett out wide, and the mark's taken by Hardingham. Just a tad too far out to score. Hardingham shorts it. No mark. Attacking it is Davey. Gillies is there for Geelong. He wants holding the ball. Comes out of the back of the pack eventually. Hunt's there. Monfrey's over the top of it. And it'll be a free kick Geelong's way.
Having said that, it's easy putting up the whiteboard and do it in theory. It's a whole different story to actually get out there and pull it off on a big stage like tonight is. And that is where the massive credit relies to a side last week who you just thought they've had enough this year. They look tired. They look as though they had a good start and it was going to be too hard. But what an amazing turnaround this has been in the space of just 6 days.
It's the sort of stuff on which the folklore of this game is built, that if you want it badly enough and you're prepared to really go hard enough on a day or a night, you can do it. You can move a mountain, and it looks as though that's what Essendon just might do tonight. Here they go again. Pears, little chip inside to young Dyson Heppel. Such an admirable young player, and this fella's pretty good too. Hibbard wants to straighten up on the left and poke it into half forward. He doesn't poke it quite far enough. Enright in the way. Cats will keep coming. Duncan now down the back. Has a good call from Mackie, who's slipped beyond the centre. And he sees a man running loose inside the 50. It's Stokes, who can go back and have a look at them.
Michael Hibbard's had a big night. If they had said, you'll keep Stevie Johnson to just 13 disposals and no goals, you'd take that every day of the week. But that turnover across half-back really hurt, and Geelong get you on the rebound, and this resulted in a shot to Matty Stokes to maybe keep them in touch in this game of football.
Good man to have the ball. He's 11-2 from set shots for the year, although he doesn't want it. He was always looking. And Chapman from right in front, and a metre or two closer, is an even better man to have it. He's kicked 7-2 from set shots this year, but he is a man who time after time has nailed the important shot. And this is one of those. 22 points down. And yet again, Chappie doesn't let them down.
Such a big-time player, isn't he, Paul Chapman? How often have you seen, look at that, the wink out the corner of the eye? A great vision, that. And they share the footy around inside 50 better and more often than the other side. Great kick. Great understanding what your teammate's going to do.
"20 disposals and 2 important goals for Paul Chapman." Look at that little... I say John Nicholas used to do that when he was rucking Tim Lane back in the 60s and 70s. He used to look at the rover and just nod and wink.
Those cold blue eyes.
Worked a treat there for Stokes, who set up Chapman. So the margin's back to 16 points. Here's Bartel, been uncharacteristically quiet tonight. Kicks half forward, and Chapman again, leading from the front. Long ball. Ottens is there, takes the slider.
Just the massive strength and power of a big man, Lloyd, isn't it? I mean, he called it, and the understanding as well from Chapman. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the physical strength there. I mean, poor old Tate Pears.
And he's
just
a big man too.
Yeah, couldn't compete with the size, and really well played from Geelong. And had a quiet night, Lloydie, but this is why he's such a respected player. He can always go down and do that.
Ottens to make it 10 points to difference.
Summed it up really well, Darcy. A man mountain, and that's often the body and the contested marks have gone out of the game, and you sometimes wonder what can you do in a marking contest, but he just protected the space for where the ball was going. Hasn't done a lot in the ruck, but that was a big goal, and they are coming hard. Time in forward half for this first 10 minutes of the last quarter. Look at the Cats applying enormous pressure to the Bombers. James Hird feeling the pressure. 7-2 inside 50s tonight.
What a monumental, magnificent struggle it's been. Ling out wide. Fletcher leads the race. Brown going with him. And on those old legs, Dustin Fletcher does enough.
Equal 12th in all-time games played tonight with Chris Grant. 340 is Dustin Fletcher.
Just could go on forever. Vardy and Hill. Falling Stanton's way. Christensen stealing it. Stanton makes sure he's going nowhere.
When the Hawks and the Cats played a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday night, Cats winning by 6 points. I think their record in tight ones is 16-4 over the last 3 or 4 years. So they do know how to win in these tight situations.
They do, but you think they've got to come a cropper one day. There'll be another ball up.
Still so much time, Tim.
Yep, more than half a quarter. Danger man in the square, Michael Hibbard. First-year player with a big job on his hands there. Here's Duncan, but it's slewed off the outside of the left boot. Essendon's footy.
Good coaching that from Chris Scott. I really like the idea of that. You got a big game player, Norm Smith medalist in Paul Chapman, who just kicked a massive big goal, get him one out the goal square. Hibbard, who's had an incredible night, Steve Johnson, suddenly finds a different opponent and plays a game a little differently to try and handle.
Milksham coming up for his 25th possession. Drives it down the line.
Just feel that the Bombers 10 points up, but they do need to kick another 1 or 2 goals to win this game. You just know in 12 minutes of footy, Geelong are capable of kicking 4 or 5.
Vardy, the front posse, tapped it down to the feet of Stokes, who floats one to the 50. Fletcher tries to hack it out of mid-air unsuccessfully. Here's Ottens. Getting there with though first was McPhail, changed his mind and got out of danger in the end. Hurley, wobbly old kick, but it came off to Stanton, who drills it wide to the wing, and the mark's taken by Hill. And that's good gut-busting running by Melksham, who did all the hard work and then spilt the beans, but he at least managed to hold up Alan Christensen for a ball up.
Spoken a fair bit about, as we look at Jakey Melksham, just dropped one that he would normally take, about the way that this Essendon side is structured up. Geelong have only had 244 total possessions. It's on track for their lowest amount of possessions since round 5, 2006. They really haven't allowed them to get that run on and flow going. And Lloyd, you mentioned it earlier about, you know, when you see Geelong play, they normally get their structures back. You see Harry Taylor take uncontested marks. You see Matty Scarlett with 20+ possessions. He's only had 8. So a lot of the things they've done tonight have really changed the way the Cats play.
Yes, they're on 245. It's a 1990s type figure. Essendon have had 100 more. Here's Howlett. Bold play into the heart of the corridor. An Enright, dangerous man to have against you there. Stokes, clever. Chapman, Cats dangerous. Poking it forward, but Chapman got it wrong there. Straight to Fletcher. Bombers ball. Oh, and that's a danger ball too. And Chapman is there again. Here's Enright, always had a throw. It's given the green light. Wojcinski, massive kick. Podsiadly went the spoil. Covered for the Dons by Pears. And Hurley swings it clear. Melksham under it, holds on.
Melksham, a little short ones, overcooked it. Terrible mistake. Bartel to Johnson. Johnson under pressure. Great tackle by the Bombers. It spills free again. Handball comes towards Prismal. Off to Pears. Pears kicks into the middle and a good mark. Taken by Cramery, who gets it moving quickly. Hill might get there. He does. This time he won't dish off. He'll go back and have a shot.
It was fantastic stuff from David Hill there, and you just saw the coach's box from the Cats with their heads down, because he just gut run. He turned Harry Taylor inside out. You'll just see at the corner of your screen, there is David Hill, who came into the pitch, and look at Harry Taylor just trailing him by 15 metres. He went out and he double-led back, got himself into a great position.
David Hill makes no mistake. Bombers by 16.
Such a big moment for David Hill, and great pick-up, Darcy. Look at the work rate. 112 kilos, and he's ran Harry Taylor off his legs there to set up that shot for goal. He's doubted himself all week, probably thinking, will I get a game, won't I? Hasn't had the biggest game, but that was a big moment to stand up.
Been a great response from both Paddy Ryder and this man, David Hill, who just on a big moment in the game worked Harry Taylor up and then back, got some space, and that is a massive goal. The Cats were coming again. The Bombers have responded beautifully.
Almost expected the TV picture to vibrate as the big man thundered across the grass. Free kick Geelong's way. They need at least 3 goals. Bartel, subdued player tonight. That's his 16th use of the ball. He's after Podsiadly. Fine mark on a hard lead with 2 against him.
And Hurley has won the duel tonight. Just 5 disposals for Podsiadly, just 2 behinds. We've seen him have some big kicks against Hawthorn. He kicked 6 straight, but he has missed some crunch goals at the same time this year.
So the whole team, Lloyd, 3-8 from set shots tonight. The Cats, the Bombers have been 8-2. This is huge.
So for a quick reply, I feel he's really got to kick this, and he doesn't. The Cats are running out of opportunities. They still need at least 3 goals if they're to snatch this back and preserve their unbeaten record.
Dustin Fletcher in game number 341. Equaling Chris Grant's record tonight, 12th on the all-time list.
Yeah, you just see Matty Stokes on that occasion. He turned back and he said to Josh Hunt, got to give that handball. The team thing to do. I'm running further afield. You don't very often see that with the Cats. They just normally have that instinctive understanding. He went for a miracle goal, probably wasn't on, and Stokes turned around and let him know all about it.
Hurley. And that's a free kick going to Kelli for high contact. Kelli shorts it. Missed the target. Mark taken by Ryder. So now the Bombers on the rebound. McVeigh. And that's a hold, so it'll be free kick going Hocking. No advantage. So ball's got to come back. Hocking off to McVeigh, into the pocket, looking for Stanton, can't take the mark. Collier coughed it straight up to Gillies. Handball astray, here's Jetta. Cramery, Collier will go all the way himself. Two telling goals in the last quarter to Travis Collier, the sub tonight, and that might be enough.
Yeah, it's a big might, Quarters, because it's 20 points. It's an interesting lead. The Bombers would be thinking, how can we hang on? But there's still 7 minutes of footy to go, so they still have to keep running and attacking for at least the next 3 or 4 minutes.
The pride of the red and black is on display tonight, and it's shock for the Geelong faithful. Chris Scott facing his first defeat as coach. It's not over, but they need 4 goals, and they need them pretty quickly. And they've got to do it against an opponent that just will not yield. Collier playing a big part. Hocking sweeping it for Zaharakis. Zaharakis! Oh, Quarters, it won't happen for me.
And he was told, Zaharakis, his eyes do light up, Darcy. He loves when the goals are in front of him. And a few of the boys said a handball was on to Alwyn Davey, who could have made it a certainty.
Straight up the guts goes Matthew Scarlett. His target is Ottens, fisted away from him by Ryder. There's little Bombers men everywhere. Monfries is one of them. Swings around on the right, bounces it towards goal, hits the post. Are they home, Matthew Lloyd?
Not just yet.
They're not far away from it. That'll be a free kick to Bartel as Jetta just boxed him out. I wonder if Steve Johnson can have some impact. He hasn't kicked a goal tonight. He has kicked goals in every one of 11 games he's played against Essendon. Here's Otten's long ball, Podsiadly, Hurley the spoil, Chapman, quick hands, Stokes around the corner. One is pulled back.
It's been a fantastic game to watch this, hasn't it? You love the way the Cats just never give up. Tackle count from their point of view tonight at 88, which is right up there. So their effort is just always going to be. They're going to keep coming. They're just going to keep coming and coming and coming this side. They don't know how to lose. They'll just give everything they've got the final part of this game. But all of a sudden, every 50-50 ball becomes massive for the Cats.
Kelli, oh, that's a big smother. A very big smother by Howlett. Ball in dispute. Little soccer off the ground by Motlop. Duncan overran it. Howlett has another crack at it. And it's in the back. Free kick Essendon's way. Desperate stuff from Ben Howlett. Great second effort.
And he'd been down the last month, like a lot of his teammates, Ben Howlett. He's had a big game tonight, but it's Dyson Heppel once again leading the disposals, 28 tonight. Player in his first year, been staggering.
Prismal into the other pocket. Finds Hurley. He kicks to Fletcher. Down the line. Scarlett, oh, they all missed it in the end. Everyone misjudged it. Now Monfries, he's got a loose on in the 50. He finds him perfectly. It's Crammery, and this just about to seal the issue.
Now that's just about it. 43,806 here tonight, and a massive proportion of those, to me, red and black fans. And have a look at the celebrations. How often have you seen this happen before? Matty Scarlett run underneath the footy. Two Cats players collide, Lloyd. It just doesn't happen ever. And full credit to the Bombers. What a massive, massive upset this is going to be. I reckon they'll run away and have the biggest upset win of the year from him.
And his opponent kicked the goal, but that was the pressure Matty Scarlett's been under. He hasn't been under that pressure all year. He's been able to roam loose across half-back, and as we...
Geelong free kick in front of goal. So that goal is about to be pulled back. Umpire Margetts against Hibberd, and the normally unflappable former Geelong coach aroused to a certain amount of agitation there. Steve Johnson, to maintain his perfect goal-kicking record against Essendon, clinically slots it, and the Cats are still alive, needing 3 goals in a bit over 5 minutes.
And let's see whether it was there, Tim. We got a shot of it. Stevie Johnson having a crack at Hibbard. It's the bottom of your screen. Stevie Johnson gives one to Hibbard first, a couple. Let's see the response. Stevie Johnson's made the most of that one. Look at the top of the screen. Wasn't a lot in that. Obviously, Hibbard has to be smart about it. Probably should have just held back.
Sucked him in, didn't he, Lloyd?
Yeah, he did.
Just pushed him around. I think umpires caught the retaliation. Not a lot in it. Stevie J's milked one, and that's a response in half a second. So we're back to 16 points. I might have gone a little early.
This is a big clearance, if ever there was one. Oh, and Geelong had it for the taking. Stokes fumbled. They still win it. Duncan, perfect hand pass. Gives Stokes a second chance. Heppel, Chapman with him. Chapman to Podsiadly. Little knock on. Johnson! Punches an unbelievable goal. He's kicked 2 in a minute. The Cats are coming.
He is a genius, that man on screen there. Have a look at him. This is the quietest night that I've seen him have in about 3 seasons. Michael Hibberd has played a fantastic job on him, Lloyd, as we've spoken about all night. He sucks him into a cheap goal. How about even attempting this? Look at that. Lands on his back. No one else would even have any understanding that you could actually possibly pull that off. He rolls it through. We're back to 10 points. Unbelievable.
And, Tim, you spoke of the last clearance, which the Cats got hold of. It is even bigger now. Chris Scott, he knows there's still enough time to win this. And it could all come down to this next centre break.
And what Brad Ottens has been doing last kind of set of bounces is getting across the line and trying to take Ryder's jump away. It's what he needs to do again. He can't out-jump Ryder. He's got to take his run.
Ottens the tap in the Duncan direction. The clearance, though, goes to Melksham. Bombers go to the 50. Front and centre is Mackie. Just throws it on the boot. Into open spaces. Getting there first is Johnson again. Twists, turns, dishes back to Enright. Again, just throws it on the boot. Chapman's there, so is Podsiadly. Brown almost took the mark. Ball spills free. Picked up by McVeigh. Little short one. It was an awkward kick, but it's come off okay. Hibberd will see it safely over the line for a throw in. It is the Bombers by 10. Brown's hurt his arm. He's coming straight off.
Let's think of that man who put $1 million on the Cats tonight. How's he feeling right now?
So in the last 5 minutes, Geelong still needing 2 goals. Stokes becoming a factor. Here's Bartel running onto a loose ball. Couldn't crash through. And the Bombers come from everywhere. Jetta receiving from Heppel. He goes as wide as he can. And he got it just right. He got it just right. Kelli was the only man out there. And a throw-in is a great result for Essendon. Kelli appealing for a deliberate high contact there, perhaps. Not paid, I reckon rightly so.
Ryder and Ottens. Ottens goes out the back door to Enright, who got the handball to Ling. He's got loose men in the middle, but the handball went straight to Pears, who took him on and did it well. Ball spills free. Picked up there by Howlett. Good handball to Stanton. Stanton to Collier. Collier draws the player to Jetta, to Davey, back to Collier. He's kicked 2 big goals in this last quarter. He runs to 45, decides to handball off. Stanton can be the hero. He decides the unselfish play, and he's missed the target. And now the Cats on the rebound.
Brent Stanton had the chance to ram it down the throats of all those who had booed him. Here go the Cats. Bartel perfectly to Duncan, who will line them up from 40. Brent Stanton, the opportunity to kick the goal. Perhaps did not have faith in himself. And how quickly it can swing. The margin is 10. Mitch Duncan telling himself, don't waver. And he doesn't. The margin is back to 4. This is an unbelievable night.
You're never critical sometimes when you're just trying to do the team thing, but that was one time that Brent Stanton just had to hammer it home and seal the victory for the Bombers. And look what the Cats do to you. They make you pay. We've spoken of centre clearances the last 2. Essendon won the last one. Kept the ball in their forward 50 for a certain time. Geelong go coast to coast and kick the goal. There mustn't be long left, probably under a minute. Look at the crowd. They cannot control themselves. What a clearance this is. Paddy Ryder v Brad Ottens.
Inside 50s, 18-8, the Cats way in the final quarter. It's Stevie Johnson, it's Chapman, it's all their guns. They don't like losing. They're just fighting this to the very last second.
Ottens the tap to Chapman, caught high. Quick kick by Ling, not 15. Pears has the football, gives it off to Prismal. Prismal goes long and wide, setting himself as Wojcinski. Collier again doing some damage in this last quarter. Releases the handball only as far as Taylor. Taylor to Chapman. Chapman to Kelly. Kelly, hurried kick goes to Stanton, who will slow things down.
Beyond 30 minutes. How many seconds left?
Well, the Essendon runners out there, Tim. He'd be telling them all how long there is to go.
And first-year player with the ball, what pressure. He's got to make sure that Essendon maintain possession. He goes for Hill. Not able to mark it, Wojcinski, but Bombers with good numbers. Jetta with speed, with a bit of creativity. Collier knocking on. Cramery, was it clever or not? We'll find out in a moment. He's got it again. He goes for Davey. Duncan in his path. Davey gets out. Collier again. Monfries. Melksham. Bombers! The Bombers have got to be home now. They have refused to let this one go.
Absolutely well summed up, Tim. It was just persistence. It was just great run and great effort and really admirable stuff from a young side who had a horrible week last week. Everyone in the footy world questioning their fitness. Did they go too hard in the pre-season? They ran out of gas and it got all too hard for them. Well, that's just desire. That's just want. I'm going to run hard. Melksham gut run all the way from the middle. He burned a couple of midfielders off, got himself in the goal square, and have a look at the Essendon faithful at the moment. They could not be any happier, Lloyd.
And David Hill's gone to sit back behind the ball in the defence for the Bombers, but Jake Melksham, you deserve that. Career high, 29 disposals, 7 tackles, 8 clearances. The game of your life.
Ottens against Ryder. Ryder beautifully out the back door to Howlett. Howlett kicks a floater to the 50. In front is Cramery. Davey pinched it from 3 Cats. Then he's dispossessed, picked up by Scarlett. Now off to Wojcinski. Wojcinski just drills it as long as he possibly can to the 50. Oh, that's a great mark by Pears. A match-winning mark. And he wastes no time as he spots up Monfries at half-back on the Dockland side of the ground. 32 and a half gone. The Bombers lead by 10. It's going to be a famous victory. To the wing. Hunt sets himself. Cramery gives it off to McVeigh. McVeigh just chips into the hole. Here's Melksham again. What a night he's had. But the Cats get possession. Enright to Scarlett. Scarlett handballs off to Wojcinski. Back to Enright.
Inside to Chapman. Cats are still coming. Poking it forward. Ottens Time very much their enemy now. Ottens to a long lead from Pudsey. Adley through his fingers. Perhaps Geelong's last chance went with it. Stanton, well tackled and dumped unmercifully by Mackey. Away go the Cats. Duncan into the 50 and Johnson. He's got to have a shot, surely. 33 and a quarter minutes gone. And he knows there are seconds left. Got to kick a goal. Kick 2 in the last quarter already. It's a mighty roost. He's done it. He's kicked a third. It's back to 4 points. There can't be another twist left in this, surely.
How about that man there? He was beaten all night, Lloyd. Michael Hibbert, I reckon, has done as good a job on him as anyone's done, and the game's in the balance. He goes and kicks 3 in the last quarter, including that miracle goal. It's a clearance. It's an inside 50. James Hird knows what's left on the clock. Surely not. Surely they can't get another one.
And look, if you can get the shot of the Geelong back line, it's just Matty Scarlett, and then down the other end, it's just most of the players are in the defence for the Essendon Football Club.
So you see Stevie Johnson trying to organise it. They've just poured everyone back, as Lloyd said. Look at them all just streaming back, trying to get the numbers there. We need a clearance for Geelong. They need to get it inside 50, somehow pull off a mark. Is there time?
Ryder got the tap. Ling has a fresh air, suckered by Chapman, marked by Monfries. It's over. The Bombers have dared to dream tonight, and the dream has turned into a wonderful reality. A win that will be remembered for many years at Windy Hill, a win that could redefine this football club. And the Cats' incredible winning streak in 2011 comes to an end.
Well, Angus Monfries, mission impossible, mission completed. How on earth did you pull that off?
We were real confident. We knew what we had to do. You know, we've had 5 weeks that we haven't played as well as we'd like, and tonight everything worked for us. It was a great win by everyone.
What's the emotion that's just coursing through your body at the moment?
We knew that it was going to turn for us, and you know, to do it against Geelong, who are 13-0, was a great effort.
When did you know you had it?
You never. Geelong are a great side, and it was right till the end.
And how much did Bomber Thompson and Brendan McCartney provide insight in the lead up to this, and were they the silent architects to this victory?
They've been at Geelong a long time, and they knew them inside out, and they sort of used their knowledge to help us win.
Congratulations, go and enjoy it.
Cheers.